What's up guys, Vinny here bringing you my 30-0 custom tactics. Yes, I finally can give you my 30-0 custom tactics. I know it's been a long time, probably waiting for a few of you guys who probably discovered my channel last year, probably found it due to 30-0 custom tactics, but this year we finally hit the 30-0. It's been a long grind. I've been playing two accounts, one on PlayStation, one on Xbox, and we just seem to not being able to clutch the 30. A couple 28s, 29s, but no 30s really. But before we get into the video, guys, if you're new around here, don't forget to hit the subscription button on the bell for notifications. It helps the channel grow and whatnot. But let's get into the 30-0 custom tactics and just talk a little bit about the weekend. So I'll just quickly show you, so a few of you won't know what my gamer tag is and whatnot. On PlayStation it is called Y-Man Y Season. 30-0 here, 2-3-8-4, 33rd in the world. You know, not a bad place to finish. I was kind of surprised that I finished so high as well, because usually when I played Weekend League, my skill rating is super low. So to be able to finish at least 33rd was nice. This is a team, obviously, what you'll see: De Stegen, Semedo, Varane, Militao, Mendy, Sissoko, Mbappe, Neymar, Ousmane Dembele, Zidane, who was super important with how I play, and CR7. I'm going to probably tell you these tactics might not work. Well, actually, I think they will. It depends who you have, though, as your CDMs. Because Zidane, for me, as you see, 4 goals, 16 assists. I think, low-key, Sissoko could have had a few as well. 1 goal, 16 assists as well, actually. So, Sissoko was doing bits as well. What you need in your CDMs is them to be able to attack. So, like a Pogba or Wijnaldum or something like that. Them sort of players are really important to have. But I'll give you a little bit more detail with the custom tactics and whatnot once I actually get there. The main man, once again, for me is Cristiano Ronaldo. I know a lot of people prefer Messi this year. For me, it's still like, I love them both, to be honest. They're both so important with how I play. So, you know, but I've started with Ronaldo this week and used Ousmane Dembele. As you see, only 8 goals, 2 assists. But I tell you, them 8 goals was super clutch for me. Mbappe stats and Neymar and whatnot. But let's get into the custom tactics. The reason why you've actually clicked the video. You see this, balance, whatever. Don't worry about this. This is not what I use or anything. But this is the tactic I use straight off the bat. You know, it's in defensive. So if you want to copy everything as that, so like maybe it just seems to not work in maybe attacking and whatnot. But defensive, balanced is the defensive style. Width is 5 and depth is 4. This is because I'm not a fan of the drop back meta. Personally, I like to be able to press quite high up the pitch, quite manually as well. So this is why I prefer to have balance. Obviously width 5, so you have quite a standard line all the way through, and 4 depth, so it's not too deep either, because as I mentioned, I like to press higher up on the pitch as well. Offensive style, we've gone possession. This is because I'm not really a fan of balance this year. I've tried balance and possession. I keep flipping it around. If I play draft, I'll use balance because it's a little bit quicker, but possession for me, especially when you're playing these long 30 games, you need them options short, because the pressing sometimes can be quite extreme from the opponent. So to have a possession style, it sort of helps. I know a lot of people, a lot of pros are going with possession because you can still play fast on possession. Just because it says possession doesn't mean you can't play fast. You can't play quick. You can't do skill moves and whatnot. You can still do all that, which you will see in my highlights. You'll see different, I think my highlights will be out tomorrow for you guys, and I'll be showing you like basically some goals and whatnot, and talk about the weekend league a little bit more in detail. But yeah, offensive style possession. I know Lyrics uses this as well on his 4-4-2 custom tactic. So yeah, I thought I'll give it a go with 4-2-3-1, and it works magic. To be honest with you, this tactic is kind of based off Lyrics' sort of custom tactics with 4-4-2, but into 4-2-3-1, and you'll sort of see why. Width is obviously 5, players in the box is 4. I've tried to mess with, I had it on 5 originally, and because of the way I have my CDM set up, I lower it down to 4 so they're not running into the box too much. Low-key 3 might be a little bit better as well, but I haven't experimented too deep in that sort of regards. I just went to 4 and it's been working. But let's start obviously with the right back and left back. Right back and left back is standard stay back. You know, that is just the standard things with the right back and left back. This is because you don't want to be getting counter-attacked on the wings. As you'll know from last year, wing play was the most important thing going. So be aware to always keep stay back. Unless you're a couple goals down, then I recommend, you know, putting stay back on. CDMs, we've got balance, and cover center. And as I am saying, this is where I'm slightly different to maybe a few other 4-2-3-1 players. I've actually gone with balance on my CDMs. This is because I am sick and tired of playing park the bus matters, okay? My team sort of sets up when I'm defending in a park the bus sort of system, as you'll see. But I'm sick and tired of playing against it. It's really frustrating, especially if you've only got 4 attackers. It can become quite isolated up top. So I have my CDMs now helping me in attack. This is what I was saying, like Zidane was super crucial really when it came into, you know, the attacking sort of third. This is where you're going to need a Pogba, Wijnaldum and so forth. And I've got Sissoko next to him. This is mainly because of money reasons, but I think Sissoko is unreal. He can actually attack super well. If he hits it on his right foot, it's super efficient, but his dribbling and whatnot is a little bit slow, but he's great defensively. He's sort of like a cheap Vieira, so you know that's why we've gone for Sissoko there. Unbelievable card for a cheap price. If you need to pick up some cheap beats, definitely pick up Sissoko. It'll allow you to spend more in other positions. So yeah, Zidane was unreal, as I mentioned, going into the attack with a balance, but definitely recommend to get this sort of tactic, especially with possession, because with possession, a lot of times if you have, let's say if you have balance, the CDMs will probably be more attacking. They'll be able to get up the pitch quicker, because that's what balance does. It's a little bit quicker than possession, so the CDMs might be missing. This is why I have possession on, because they will be sitting there in the right position for me to like receive the ball coming out of defense, and then when I'm in their final thirds, they can give me the attack and run. I don't want them to give me the attack and run as soon as I get the ball from defense. Still want to have quite a structured team, because that's always why I pick 4-2-3-1. It's quite a structured tactic and whatnot. So going into the cams, this is why I've said it's sort of inspired by lyrics, and actually these all should be on comeback. And this is because, their drop back system and sort of not, well, the drop back system is supposedly been patched, but it hasn't. But like the way to defend is still super deep and just have people behind the ball and then sort of press from that way. So that's why I've got comeback on defense, on the free cams, and obviously the striker. This is because you want more people behind the ball. It's harder for them to score. Simple as, especially when you've got balance on these CDMs, you're going to probably need these to come back on defense, because one of them will probably be out of position now and then. So to have them come back on defense naturally will give you another help basically when it comes to defending. You're not going to get counter attacked as quick. And then up top you've got comeback on defense on the striker. This is because, as I was saying, you just need people behind the ball. There's no point trying to press on this game, it seems, because pressing it seems to be ridiculous hard. So yeah, come back on defense on the striker. That is the tactic I start with when I go into game. If you want to know what I do, I've got obviously a few ultra attacking and attacking, but even when I'm a couple of goals down, I'm not really changing to them tactics most of the time. Right, this is what I do. Let's say if I'm 2 goals down or 3 goals down, depending on the time, you know, and the situation. Most of the time I go constant pressure. I up that width so I can press them wider quite quickly. Depth is super high. We're just trying to get the ball back at this point, so you're going to take risks as always when you go to constant pressure. If you don't want to try constant pressure, you're a bit more worried. You could probably even do it on balanced or pressure on heavy touch, press out of possession. Personally, I go constant pressure. Then we ramp up the players in the box. So these are CDMs, as I mentioned, are going to give you crazy runs going forward. So be aware of that. So we up the players in the box, keep the width as quite simple. But that is what I personally go to if I'm a couple goals down. And you'll see in the highlights, I went to this tactic. Oh my god, the clutch what I did to achieve top 100 was amazing. Right. Let's go into another tactic. This is the ultra defensive. This is, let's say I'm in a more of a tricky game and I know the opponent's good, but I'm a couple goals up and I can see that he's scoring, he's getting through a little bit easier than I want because my CDMs are unbalanced. This is what I do. Basically, exactly the same. 5-4-5-4. And I believe, okay, they're not on comeback once again. It was only the cam what wasn't on comeback. All the cams on comeback. Striker on comeback and target man on the striker. This is because as target man, they give you an option to feet, and even though I've got possession style, a lot of times the striker will wander off and whatnot. So I have target man on the striker, especially when you got Ronaldo, big guy, you know. And you'll see a few goals due to me having target man on him, is where a lot of times he will sort of sit on the edge of the box and you can sort of pass into him and scoop turn, or you know, fake shot out wide to one side and then just finish it near post, power shot. And that's sort of like the way I was scoring with Ronaldo. Obviously, as I was saying, come back on defense on the cams and stay back and cover center on the CDMs. That's the only difference with this tactic, is that we've got the stay back on the CDMs. And this is what I was just saying, you're just trying to shore up the shit, basically. You're a couple goals up against a good opponent. Let's just try and be a little bit more defensive, a little bit more wise with how we're defending and also attacking, I suppose. So yeah, stay back and cover center on the CDMs. That's the only difference between them two. If you're Trust me, that balance on CDMs changes the way your team will attack, especially if you're struggling against part of the bus. Try it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because it is, for me, it is working perfect. Okay, that wasn't meant to be on drop back. It is the 4-4-2 balance, 5 width, 4 depth. Is this? Yeah. Okay, so this shouldn't actually be, I think this should be about this. Sorry, I think I was messing around with 4-4-2 this weekend, here and there, but I didn't really change it too much. 4-4-2, I was going to say 4-2-2 as well. 4-2-3-1 with the balanced CDMs was working miracles, even when I was losing, winning, whatever the situation was. A lot of times I just stuck with a 4-2-3-1 and so forth. But 4-4-2 is obviously there as my plan B, and this is a lot of pros' favourite formation this year. This is due to, as I mentioned, the system, the way to defend the meta is to have people behind the ball. As simple as that. It's awful meta to basically play. It's not a fun meta, it's not enjoyable, it's not the FIFA that we know to enjoy, but that is basically the system, what people have to play to get results. And that's why you'll see a lot of pros use a 4-4-2, because before the patch, there was like people that your strikers was able to come back on defense, and a lot of time people get the ball with their CDMs and sort of centre mids in the attacking third, and your strikers will fly back and get the ball, and it was crazy. It was a overpowered tactic. It was like, we basically call it the Tuga tactic. If you know who Tuga is a Portuguese pro player who basically was the creator of the tactic and whatnot. But let's get into this 4-4-2. Width 5, depth 4, possession 5, players in the box 4. And as I said, this tactic was more inspired by lyrics as well. We don't have the same width and whatnot there, because I do like to have my team a little slightly wider with my right mids and left mids. But as you'll know, if you haven't seen the lyrics tactics, he has everyone cutting back and stay back, but on balance, so he can still press and whatnot with his team. But stay back on your right back and left back, come back and get behind on the right mid and left mid. This is personally because I do play like wing base quite a lot, and sometimes I forget to trigger the run just because sometimes, you know, I press L1 sometimes when my centre back's running. It's probably me because I'm not really directing the person who I want to run right. But if I have the right mid and left mid naturally running forward, it will stretch the opponent. It will make them team like get naturally deeper and whatnot. So that's why I've got get behind on the right mid and left mid. Stay back and cover centre on the centre mids, and this is why you can get away with stay back on cover centre on centre mids, and why I'm not using balance on it. This is because centre mids naturally come forward a little bit more compared to if you use a CDM's one. They're quite structured, they're quite like stable. If you've got stay back on a CDM, they are not moving, to be honest with you. They're sticking there as a trooper and just winning you that ball back. But as centre mids, they just naturally come forward a little bit more. So that's why I'm using stay back on both of them. You low key, if you maybe want you've enjoyed how the 4-2-3-1 is working so much with obviously the balanced CDMs, you could probably put one centre mid as balance. You're like more attacking one, but personally I have it both at stay back and come back on defense and target man as my right striker. If you've got like a big striker like a Ronaldo, or I don't know, like a more physical striker who's still fast and whatnot, or a guy who's a little bit more, you know, you got Neymar, let's say, up top. He's the agile guy. Mbappe, like, let's say, you could probably put target man on him up top if you've got Neymar and Mbappe. Just somebody who's a little bit more bigger, who can hold the ball up and whatnot, and let, like, your right mid and left mid make the runs and whatnot, and you just sort of use them as, like, a cam, but at a striker position. That's why I've got target man in the 4-4-2. And this is obviously the plan B. Plan C, we're losing like 3-4-0 at this point. If this tactic comes out, we've basically lost the game. We are going 3-5-2, ultra attacking, constant pressure, quite high width, about a 7 or an 8, and then depth it's 9, balance 5, play in the box 7. And we're basically just trying to just YOLO it and see if we can get a couple of goals back quick. If we can't, you know, the game's gone anyway. But getting behind on the two strikers, stay forward on the cam, it's like if you've played 4-1-2-1-2 or 4-3-1-2, you know that's the system. Getting behind on the strikers and then stay forward on the cam. Quick counter attacks. Balance on the CDMs, obviously, as I mentioned, we're trying to get goals back, so we're just basically YOLOing it. If I was using 3-5-2, like straight off the bat, for whatever reason, I would probably put stay back on them due to you know, your team's quite attacking anyway when you use a 3-5-2. But balance right mid and left mid, you know, we're just trying to get goals at this point. That's what I'm saying with the 3-5-2. We're just trying to get goals back quick as possible. We can. If we can't, you know, it is what it is. But most of the time, even if I am like 2 goals down, I'll probably go to this sort of tactic, as I mentioned earlier. So yeah. But that'll be it for the video, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if these custom tactics will help you out, and hopefully get you a couple more wins and let you enjoy the game a little bit more against Part of the Bus. But that'll be it. We'll be seeing you.